Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Welcome, everyone. So happy, and we are so happy to have all of you with us for this day. We have been planning for quite some time, and we have wonderful guests and speakers lined up for you from different parts of the world, who will share with you their knowledge. And the virtual global chapter is Dr. Kurian will introduce it in just a moment. But I would just like to say that it is going to bring people who are abroad back home to India. And at this point, I would like to first request Dr. Shaffer Purinje and Dr. Natraj Ray to officially inaugurate the chapter so that we can go ahead and do the first activities for this ISTD virtual global chapter. Dr. Shaffer, please.
Thank you very much. I officially declare the ISTD Virtual Global Chapter open.
Do we have Dr. Natraj Ray here also?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah. Yeah, good evening, Josh ji. Good evening.
How, Dr. Sir, we would also like your kind words to declare the chapter as inaugurated.
Yeah, yes, fine.
Okay, thank you so much. I will not take too much time. I will let the experts do the speaking today. So I request Dr. Mr. Kurian Daniel, our National Vice President, to, or sorry, I would actually pass it on to Dr. Joshi, who will introduce Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Dr. Yash. Before I invite Mr. Kurian for his inaugural address, I would like to welcome our National President, Dr. Natraj Ray, Dr. Kurian, Mr. Kurian, Mr. Salil Chatterjee, the National Treasurer, the past presidents, the NC members, OB members, and all the ISTD members in India and abroad to this wonderful occasion. Now, I will invite Mr. Kurian. Let me introduce Mr. Kurian, who is a civil engineering graduate and started his career in a German consulting firm, UHDE, and thereafter he started his own technical manpower consulting, K. Daniel projects, way back 1995, and thereafter he has been actively associated with the activities of ISTD. In fact, he joined ISTD in the year 2001, and after that, in the Western region, he has been focal in increasing the activities in the membership and opening of chapters. He was the regional vice president West in the year 2018 and is now the national vice president for the term 2020-2022. I welcome Mr. Kurian for his address.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all, being a global function. Dr. Natraj Ray, National President ISTD, all President Emeritus, all past presidents, OB members, NC members, chapter office bearers, members of ISTD, director and NHQ staff, and all VGC members who all are the reason for this VGC launch function. Our chief guest, Dr. Shaffer Purinje, and today's keynote speaker, Dr. Kamila. Today is a historical day for ISTD. On this International Labour Day, we are launching the ISTD Virtual Global Chapter. I am privileged to be associated with this since the inception of this great idea. Since last 1 year, we are working on this. The idea of virtual chapter is the offshoot of our webinar on 31st July 2020 on expanding the horizon of ISTD. Dr. Suresh Vishwarma, one of the panelists of this webinar, suggested the idea of Virtual Global Chapter, and all other panelists, Dr. S. Chawla, Dr. Samir Hadiya, Ms. Anuradha Fase, moderator Dr. Rajan Saxena, and co-host Dr. Shailaja Bakar, and myself appreciate the idea, and with the consent of NB Dr. Nataraj Ray, I have started working on the same. We are not having proper record of our members working abroad, as the migrated persons may not be getting in touch with the respective chapter or NHQ. Even after tremendous effort, we could locate only 16 members till now. They have nominated Dr. S. Chawla from Poland as the chairman, Mr. George Thomas from Muscat as vice chairman, Dr. Samir Hadiya from Germany as secretary, and committee members are Dr. Y.L. Ahuja from USA, Dr. Suresh Vishwarma from Canada, Professor Dr. Deepak Saxena also from Canada. Other members include Dr. Arun Kumar Trivedi from London, Dr. Suresh Lakshman Kumar from Canada, Mr. Chakravarti Kaustav from Singapore, Mr. Reggie P. Babu from Australia, Mr. Sunil Nair from Saudi Arabia, Dr. Sanjaya Misra from Canada, Mr. Kurian Varghese from USA, Mr. Lloyd D'Souza from Saudi Arabia, Mr. Anish C. Alex from Abu Dhabi, and Ms. Anuradha Fase from USA. We request the support of all chapters and NHQ to identify our members working or settled abroad. At this moment, we will not remove any of this person from their parent chapter, as they are not part of any other physical chapter. Members of VGC are well-experienced professionals and experts in various fields. We shall use their expertise in designing various short-term courses, obtaining accreditation or affiliation of foreign universities for our PG diploma course, arranging eminent international speakers for webinars or workshops, providing valuable articles or research papers for IJTD, and arranging participants and speakers for IFDO. As per present MOA of ISTD, we are not allowed to accept membership from outside India. NB has declared during the last NC to appoint a committee to suggest proper amendment in this regards and other relevant clauses. Once it is done, we will be able to accept prospective members from across the globe. Major challenges for VGC is the time zone. Once we identify more members, we may have to split to groups of compatible time zone. Scheduling webinar or training programs, workshops are being done by our international members much in advance compared to Indian programs. Hence, getting participation of all members for regular meetings or webinar is also another challenge. We should appreciate Dr. S. Chawla and his team for their tremendous efforts and follow up to make this VGC launch a reality. Thank you. Thank you all. Over to Dr. Joshi.
Thank you, Mr. Kurian, for explaining in brief the work done behind the screen for over 1 year under your guidance and by the efforts of Mr. Yash Chawla. In fact, we have yet to formulate the rules and the structure through which we will be able to enroll the members on international level. There are certain modalities which are yet to be formulated. Yet, I congratulate everyone present on this occasion for this wonderful opening ceremony. And I'm really thankful to Dr. Shaffer Purinje and Dr. Nataraj Ray for their virtual inauguration of this chapter. Now I invite National President ISTD for his welcome address. And before that, I would just like to give you a brief of Dr. Ray, who is a science graduate and holds a bouquet of professional qualifications, PG Diploma in IR and PM, PG Diploma in Training and Development. And he started his career way back in 1984 as a management trainee in the corporate world. He has experience spread over 2 decades in the fields of learning and development, management teaching, industrial training, and as HRD manager in several industries specialization in training and development initiatives. He has done tremendous work in promotion of various activities in ISTD over a couple of years. He has taken over President ISTD way back in May 2019, and ever since, because of his continuous and hard work, we are able to reach new heights. I welcome him and invite him for his welcome address. Dr. Nataraj.
Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear past president, President of Emeritus, my own dear office bearers, NC members, chairman and secretary of different chapter, and other colleagues across the globe. Indian Society for Training and Development, ISTD, is a renowned name as on date in the globally in the field of training and development and HR fraternity. When ISTD was established in 1970, last year we had the 50th celebration. Our vision was that ISTD vision was that to transformation knowledge, so training and development. So our views is that to transform the knowledge of training and development. Also our mission to facilitate individual and organization to excel the training and development and other allied activities. So in Bond, we have the training and development and HR activities. Friends, we are now a global organization. We celebrate the 50th last year, and across the country, we have 47 chapters or 47 offices are working. All are very vibrant. As on date, we are close to 10,000 members in the country, and some of the SAARC countries, we have some members. And now, it is a very auspicious day for ISTD, which my dear own Korean Daniel, the NBP, brainchild to global chapter. Thank you, Purinje, for your relentless support for ISTD and make this global chapter in the across the globe. ISTD is affiliated by two of the renowned associations in the country. One is ATADO, that is the Association for Training and Development, ATD, and also IFTIDO, that International Federation of Training and Development Organization, that is IFTIDO. We are the part of the IFTIDO, and by design, I am the board member of the IFTIDO. So the latest technology of the world in training, development, HR fraternity, we are adopted in the country to ISTD, to my own dear members and others. Today, this chapter will be inaugurated myself and my colleague, Mr. Shaffer, Dr. Shaffer. Thank you, sir. And Madam Kamila. Thank you, Madam. And my own dear Josh is very close to me. Many times when he's in India, we have talked to each other, how to go there, how to do that thing. And my own ISTD colleague in the office, that is led by Dr. A.C. Joshi. They are fully supported to make this global chapter with the help of our NBP, my OBs, other OBs. There's 4 OBs, and including our National Treasurer, Mr. Sholil Chatterjee, make this happen. Thank you, sir. And on my behalf of as a ISTD, as a president and my NHQ team, I am welcome all of you for these wonderful efforts to make the ISTD another feather of the ISTD. Those ISTD members has left India. Many Korean already told that 50-55 members is abroad. We have not touched them, but Now with all these things, we have connected them and we accumulated them everything and make this virtual global chapter. So we have made them and such members settle outside of India. For this virtual global chapter, we footprint across the globe, make ISTD truly a global organization. Now I can tell everywhere that ISTD is a truly global organization like other organizations, HRM, ARTADO, IFTDO, ATD, and others. We are also happy to inform that we are also a part of the SAARC countries. Some of the SAARC countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, we are also put our footprint there. We make slowly their chapter and we will bring a lot of members across the SAARC countries. ISTD is a differential activities and many activities there. That is a PG diploma, postgraduate diploma. As on date, this is the largest diploma in the country as well as maybe in the world. More than 45 alumni is the ISTD diploma across the country. Last 50 years almost, we are running this diploma. Membership, we are close to 10,000 members as in the country and some of the outside members in SAARC countries. Skill India mission, Government of India's Skill India development, we are part of the thing. We are the nodal center, we are the assessment center of ISTD. And we are our brand training program, train the trainer. And also we have many customized program for our organization and some other abroad, other organization also, we are the customers organization. Recently, we have another feather, we have adopt ourselves, that is the International Certified Trainers Program, NOCN, with the collaboration of the NOCN UK. One of our colleagues has relentlessly put his efforts to make ISTD this NOCN program, and we are doing a very good. Our NC member in Baroda, that is Mr. Arvind Kode, his brainchild, and we have done this program across the country. Also, we are going for abroad also. We have a very good journal, IJTD, Indian Journal for Training and Development, this journal is a very research and oriented journal, which our budding writer is doing this journal in writing their articles and other. So truly, I can tell you, IST is an integrated part of the training development, HR across the country. And now we are from today across the globe. Thank you, Josh, that we are proud that you make us that IST is a global thing. I am happy to inform that this year in November 24 to 26, we are doing the conference in India where ISTD is a host for IFTDO conference in 24 to 26 November, where I would request all of them to be a part of the conference, where already some of the key speakers has agreed to come in India. That is a Professor Dev Orenje has already confirmed to come India. Dr. Johnny C. Taylor, CEO HRM. Now HRM is a part of ISTD. Jack Philip, RY Chief, and his colleague, Petty Philip, and Michael Potter, all are agreed to come India at November 24 to 26, which we feel that it is one of the largest conference in the country, which will be inaugurated by our President of India for this program. And 2 senior ministers of India has already consented in the patron of the committee. Sir, we are truly global. ISTD is truly global. But I am going for some of the other thing also, which ISTD has given to the members. Maybe some of members are not, global members is not aware. We have a very lucrative fellowship. ISTD everywhere giving the fellowship, which is the best fellowship in the country and is a very lucrative fellowship of in the country and our members. Apart from that, we have the award and recognition for members. And this award, as many awards are generated by the renowned person in the country, such as Innovative Award for Training and Practices is a national award. we have a Young Male-Female Trainers Award, ISTD FICCI Awards for Excellence in HR Practices, Best Book Award, Best Member Awards, Best Chapter and Best Small Chapter Award, Best Paper Awards, Kamala Nehru Awards, Vivekananda Awards, Best CEOs Awards, all are there. Sir, we are inviting all of you to part of the award and fellowships other all persons who are virtually staying abroad. This pandemic, we are not sitting idle. Last 1.5 years, more than 200 webinars we have done. So many foreign acclaimed speakers, they have shared their knowledge and experience in the ISTD platform, the current scenario. So we are also doing this experience for our members in abroad and also country. Sir, Madam, now we are expecting more from Josh and other team to make a ISTD members across the globe. The modus operandi will be formulated very soon, but my own Korean has told you. So we need at least 100 members next one financial year so that we can tell the abroad also we are a lot of members. Thank you very much, sir. I thank all of my colleagues. Thank my own dear Mr. Shaffer, Mr. Madam, Kamila, and others for participating in ISTD, and you are part of ISTD, and future also will be part of ISTD for all our activities and all our conference, seminar, and others in future. Thank you once again, everyone, and best of all, my own friends, my colleagues, and other ISTD members for attending this program. And good luck and best of luck, the global chapter, which is inaugurated today with all of us. It is a new feather with all of us, with the help of our national team, my technical team, and other team for this. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, everybody, for participating this inauguration section today, the global chapter. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. Thank you, Dr. Ray, for a wonderful inaugural address and for inaugurating the virtual global chapter. We are extremely thankful to you. You have indeed laid the platform for tomorrow's virtual chapter, for which sky is the limit. In fact, today I find myself loaded with a lot of expectations, because across the country there are 8,000 members, and we still do not know how many of them have moved abroad. In fact, it is a challenge for me to look after or to ensure that all these ISTD members become part of the virtual global chapter and contribute in its growth and progress. Now, I would like to invite the chief guest, Dr. Shaffer Purinje, who has kindly consented to be the chief guest. Dr. Orenje is a program specialist in education for sustainable development with the Swedish International Center of Education for Sustainable Development. His research expertise includes learning for change, developing sustainability competencies, and understanding links in environment, health, and sustainability. He facilitates education for sustainable development courses in the Baltic Sea region and Campus Gotland ESD learning labs. His current work supports teaching and learning of environment and sustainability within and among countries in Scandinavia, Africa, and Asia. He also coordinates the Global Partner Network of UNESCO GAP on ESD action area, building capacities of educators and trainers and capacity development for Agenda 2030 in Zambia and Zimbabwe. I invite Dr. Shaffer Purinje for his inaugural address. Please welcome Dr. Orenje. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you, sir.
those
Thank
kind words, and thank you for inviting me to the ISTD Global Virtual Chapter. And I would like to say thank you to the President for inviting me to be part of the ISTD. It is a great pleasure for me to be talking to you, all these guests and colleagues from India. As has been mentioned in his kind introduction, my background is in education for sustainable development. So my talk will be within the concept of education for sustainable development. With the education for sustainable development here, I am looking specifically at what ISTD does, which is capacity development and training. My focus, things that keep me awake, things that will always bother me because of the work that I do, is the question on training and development. Where are we training young people for their future, or we are training them for our own time? Many times we find ourselves training our young people the way we have been trained, or we are training them for the present challenges when their life is actually much into the future. I've always said to my colleagues that if you are not training young people for their time, maybe you're not the right person to be training them. I am going to share a PowerPoint so that my talk becomes very smooth. If I don't discipline myself, I will keep on talking. So I will use this PowerPoint to guide my talk. Just bear with me, and then I will go share. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yeah, it is visible. Yes. So I have entitled this presentation, or this introduction or inauguration to capacity development for a dysfunctional world. The world is in a dysfunctional mode right now, and the subtopic being education for sustainable development is the need of the hour. If we don't act through education, we could be in very serious trouble. Okay, so I went to no, I should actually try to open these slides. Why are they not opening? Aha, yes, now I have succeeded. When I was searching about the ISTD, I found your vision, and your vision is saying here, leading transformation through training and development. And then I went to your mission. Your mission says to facilitate individuals and organizations to excel in training and development activities, serve as the reservoir of universal knowledge of human interface through innovative practices and original exploratory research. This was very noble. I like this very much because it resonates with the kind of work that I do. The general sustainable development strategy for India here is very well represented. It is strongly focusing on eliminating extreme poverty. That's what I also found when I was looking at the sustainable development goals linked to India. And my talk today is centered on the fact that this is a massive social and economic transformation. The vision that you have and the vision that the country has for sustainable development is centered around social and economic transformation. So I will stress a lot about educating for transformation. educating for social transformation. How can we learn ourselves out of the global dysfunction that we have? And ISTD, as a global function, as a training and development organization, has got a very important role to play in as far as that is concerned. My next slide, I will talk about the 21st century challenges in as far as India is concerned, and then I will look at a challenge that I will give ISTD as a global organization. The first challenge that I will discuss here, I think I have got about 5 of them. The first challenge is that we are not going to achieve all the sustainable development goals by 2030. The world has targeted that the 17 sustainable development goals should be achieved by 2030. Okay, India is very pivotal because it is a big country, but we now know that we cannot achieve all of these goals, okay? If the current trend continues, the world will not achieve the goals by 2082. This is a very big challenge, okay? And then COVID came. When the COVID pandemic came, it set us back 10 years back, which means here we will be delayed in achieving sustainable development goals up to 2092. This is more than 60 years out of our global target. That is my challenge number 1. What does this mean for India? Now, if you look at India, can be divided into 3 zones which are supposed to mark our success towards achieving the sustainable development goals. What is in green is on course of achieving some of the sustainable development goals in time, and what is in yellow is in the middle, and what we have in blue, we are saying here, these states here are lagging far behind achieving sustainable development goals by 2030. I will not go into the nitty-gritties because here I would like to link this to education and training. Okay, this slide here is showing us sustainable development challenges in Indian states in 2020. But I would like you to focus at the text that I have on the left-hand side here. It says, India, with 17% of world population, can massively influence the global sustainable development by being the torchbearer to the low-income countries and medium-income countries for achieving the sustainable development goals. Imagine if India manages to achieve the sustainable development goals, the statistic alone for low-income countries will be very big. And within a very short time, we will remove the prejudice that the world has on low-income countries and medium-income countries in as far as sustainability is concerned. I am saying this because education and training, of which ISTD are at the core of their business, is important in order for the world to unlearn ourselves out of unsustainability into a sustainable future. And I will continue here. So this is what it means for India. And when India has achieved the sustainability path, what it means for the world, the low-income countries will benefit quite a lot when it comes to that. And the real reason why we are discussing this is mainly because the challenge that we have is no longer a challenge of science. For an example, we all agree that climate change is taking place. We agree that, okay? But the problem of education and training is not what causes climate change, how can we stop climate change? The problem is that climate change and other issues have become political. They are contested, they are challenged. Although science is telling us that the climate is changing, individual scientists are coming in sponsored by polluters to challenge what is coming. So the role of education here, the role of ISTD is to bring to light to the people that we are training, to the young leaders, to the future, that the world you are getting into is contested. If the world that you are getting into is contested, you must be prepared. I will talk about the tools to do this later on. So I just used this slide here, which shows a massive contestation within climate change. Climate change is only one. COVID came 2 years back. There are a lot of skeptics and controversies around COVID, etc. I will not go into that. Okay, so this slide here is trying to answer the question, but why transformative learning? Why should we learn for social transformation? Why do we need social transformation? It is because, number two, in order for us to respond to the 21st sustainability crisis, we have to confront this global dysfunction. And in order to confront this global dysfunction, we can refer to this situation where here, I've mentioned this earlier on, current global trends suggest that our behaviors threaten our ability to meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations, without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In other words, we are saying here, we are not on track of achieving sustainability. So because we are not on track, we need learning for social transformation. The society must transform itself from the dysfunction in which we find ourselves right now. I am using this quote here because it has got a very important message. This is from Charles Darwin, which he wrote in 1809. It is still relevant today. He said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." The one most responsive to change. If you look at people of the world right now, they are more intelligent, they are probably stronger militarily or whatever, but because we are not responding to change, we are going to destroy ourselves as a species. Your role as ISTD is to find out, to explore, research, and bring out how the world, especially India, because it's so big, can respond to change so that the world can survive as a species. If we don't change, then we stand to die, okay? I think you are aware of these products here. Kodak, it was a film industry. Nokia was the world-leading cell phone manufacturing company in the world in the 90s, but they have all gone. They did not respond to change. So will us, ourselves, if we don't respond to change, and this is through education, our species as human beings is deemed to not succeed. Okay, so responding to change is another challenge that we have. We are not responding to change in good time and adequately and in the right moments. The fourth challenge here is the challenge of recycling old ideas. I will read this quote here. I like this author. He is called David Orr. I use him quite a lot. I will use him again towards the end. And this is what he says: the knowledge, skills, aptitudes, values necessary to industrialize the earth are not necessarily the same as those that will be needed to heal the earth and build durable economies and good communities based on principles of equity and sustainability. In other words, we are saying here, the knowledge and skills that the world has used to arrive at industrialization that we have right now are not the same that we will need to take us out of unsustainability, to take us out of poverty, to take us out of pollution, to take us out of inequality. We need new skills, knowledge, and aptitudes to take us out of that. So the question for ISTD is, what are those knowledges, skills, and aptitudes that will take us out of inequalities, that will take us out of global dysfunction, unsustainability, etc. So that is the challenge that I'm giving you with the fourth challenge, with the fourth thing here. We need transformative learning, learning that transforms society out of dysfunction into a dysfunction state of affairs. And my fifth one is crucial. It is probably the most important in as far as ISTD is concerned, the crisis of employability and job creation. I am referring here to a study which was carried out in 2016, which said by 2030, more than half a generation of young people will not have the skills needed for the changing global job market. The changing global job market, that's the key. ISTD should focus on that. Changing global job market. This is more than 800 million out of 1.6 billion children and young people globally. If you look to the right-hand side, for now I will ignore this side. I would like you to go to the right-hand side there, where it says, unless education systems can respond, that's where ISTD comes in. Unless education systems can respond, a major shortage of skilled workers will stand global economy. It is not saying there will be no workers. It is saying skilled workers will be short of. We will not have the skilled workers for that time and that job and that kind of environment. And two, it says here, up to a quarter of the population in low-income countries could still live in extreme poverty. I was saying earlier on that if India would achieve this one, people living in extreme poverty, we have taken the low-income countries out of those bad statistics that we have in the world, okay? And lastly, if education does not respond, income inequality will increase and it will fuel conflict and instability. In other words, if education and training does not respond to these changes that are taking place, conflict will not end, instability will not end. Education has to respond adequately. But here, I've been talking about education and training quite a lot here. But you see, this research says education is the best investment that the world can make. But if education is the best investment that the world can make, what kind of education? We should take this as ISTD as an opportunity for sustainable solutions. The more challenges we have, it means those are embryos for future jobs. Every challenge that we have for India is an embryo for a future job. That's where the jobs are. If we are training and educating for the future, the kind of education, the kind of training will focus on the creation of solutions to the challenges that we have. If you look at the biggest companies that we have in the world right now, IT companies, they were started by people who were solving a social problem. So our jobs for the future are in the challenges that we have. If we manage to solve the problem that we have right now, the jobs will come. It will not be a problem at all. We will not be talking about job creation. We will be talking about creating sustainable solutions. That's where our jobs will come, in my view. So, capacity development for social transformation, what ISTD could supposedly look at. Now, I told you that I'm going to refer to David Orr again, and he poses this question: what is education for? Okay, and here is his critique of education. He says here, the truth is that without significant precautions, education can equip people merely to be more effective vandals of the earth. If one listens carefully, it may even be possible to hear the creation groan at every graduation ceremony, when another batch of smart degree-holding but ecologically illiterate Homo sapiens who are eager to succeed are launched into the biosphere. What David Orr is saying, he is saying the problems of pollution that we have right now, the problem of mass deforestation that we have right now, the problem of climate change, they have not been caused by people in the village. They have been caused by people like you and me, people who have gone to school, who have PhDs. People in the village cannot go and drill for oil in the North Sea. They can't do that. But us now, we do that. If we don't have ecological literacy, we do it in a very bad way, and we destroy the very home on which we live, and the challenge keeps on growing. So in that kind of a situation, we have got a challenge. The challenge now is for ISTD, training professionals who are critical of the present day development of our society and capable of acting in favor of more sustainable development is one of the greatest challenges of the 21st century for higher education institutions. Therefore, universities and ISTD, I should say, have to work from all perspectives: social, economic, technological, ecological, to promote teaching and research programs that provide solutions for local and global environmental problems. If ISTD is going to excel as a global organization, as a global torch of how the diaspora or people in training can succeed, they will have to succeed in providing solutions for local and global environmental problems. My challenge is all the problems that we have are actually anchored around environmental problems, okay? So the engagement of the Indian Society for Training and Development in the construction of a global vision and pathway of sustainable development is critical. Not only for India, as I said earlier on, it is critical for all of us. Now I can't find my cursor. Okay, there it is. Okay, if I can go back to this guy here, what we are trying to do here is, what I am trying to say is, how can we make it possible that we respond to change? If we respond to change, then we save ourselves as a global, as a species. And I am also saying here, when we respond to change, we need competencies for the 21st century. Those things that we should put in place in the 21st century for people to be able to live in the future, training for the future. What does it entail? I will not be able to look at this critically because it is just a 20-minute talk. But these 3-4 C's are a guideline as to how we can train young people or young leaders for the future. We must train them to be critical thinkers, train them to collaborate, train them to be creative and innovative, train them to communicate more and in a more effective way. When you do this, if you put that young man in any future, they will survive and they will create solutions to the problems that they find themselves. Not only their problems, but other problems that they find within them. So what am I saying? I am saying the situation in which we are is very complex. ISTD, the world in which you are right now, 2021, is a complex world. I am also saying it is very contextual. You people are living in many different parts of the world. Canada is its own context. The UK is its own context. Me in Sweden, I have got my own context. Back home in India, it's a different context. These problems are contextual. They play out in different contexts. These problems are also contested. I told you, with climate change, now with COVID, people are contesting everything that comes in. And they are also emergent, they are sudden, and they are uncertain. We don't know when they will come and when they have actually manifested. So the question is, we want to build the future we want. ISTD, how do we build the future we want? We are in a position, very influential position, very good potential to build the future we want with the people that we encounter in. So the question is, how can we prepare for the 21st century and beyond? Prosperity and equity, peace and unity are our thoughts. That's where we are looking forward to, okay? Preparing for a future that we do not know. I like that one. That one is used to be my mantra. Each time I get into a training session, Chola knows that. I was saying, how do we train young people for a future that we don't know? If your answer is maybe we cannot do that, you should not be training them. If ISTD is not preparing people for the future that we don't know, we only know that things will change, But what kind of change, we don't know. So we need to equip ourselves with competencies to be able to prepare young people for the future that we don't know today. But if you put them there, they will be able to figure out. So we have to invest in quality education and training. What does it mean, investing in quality education and training? I've just got a few words here which might be helpful. That when our training systems, when ISTD is able to engage trainees or students or whatever you call them in systems thinking, futures thinking, values thinking, strategic thinking, collaborative competence, critical thinking, personal competence, integrated problem solving competence, creativity and innovation. You will see how many times thinking has come here. That the most important assets that someone who has been in contact with ISTD is that you have taught those people to think. You haven't given them facts and answers. You have taught them to think critically, to think in the future, to think about values, to think strategically, okay, to think about problem solving and innovation. You have taught them, you have helped them to think. That is our biggest challenge, and that's what we should be doing. And as I said earlier on, if we cannot do this in the 21st century, if you cannot do this, if an organization that is doing capacity development, that is doing training, that is doing education in the 21st century, if they can't do these things that I have listed there and many others, maybe you shouldn't be teaching people, because that won't help them in the future. That will help them during my time when I was young, not even now, okay? So we must try and locate ourselves in equipping young people with those competencies, I call them. I think I have talked too much now. I will stop here. I want to thank you very much for inviting me. I am very passionate about development and training. Capacity development is what I do every day. And I would like to wish you the very best in what we have launched. It is a very, very important chapter. But what I urge you is think sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. The future of our young people, our young leaders, is more important than us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shaffer Purinje, for a wonderful session and highlighting sustainability and preparing the youth for tomorrow's education, how we manage uncertainty tomorrow. In fact, during the last 20 minutes, you have given us lot of food for thought. In fact, you have reminded ISTD of its vision, mission. We have to look back and see what we have done yesterday, but we have to create and facilitate creation of jobs in the future for the 21st century. For the youth, you have focused on LIC, the low-income countries, and how India can become instrumental in focusing on the low-income countries. In fact, today, we are witnessing opening of new vistas across the globe. It is a new opportunity being given to ISTDians all over. And I'm sure that with the inauguration of the virtual chapter today, our members across the globe will definitely pool in their resources, intellectual resources, physical resources, for furtherance of the vision and mission of ISTD. Thank you so much, Dr. Orenje. Now is the time for the keynote speaker to deliver the speech. I invite Dr. Kamila Ludwikowska. I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce properly. Somehow,
May I help in that? It's Dr.
I'll try to pronounce again. Ludwikowska. Welcome.
Dr. Kamila Ludwikowska.
Dr. Kamila Ludwikowska. I'm sorry. I'll try again, and I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Anyway, I'd like to introduce Dr. Kamila. Dr. Kamila is a specialist in the field of modern human resource management practices in organizations, as well as improvement of social skills in the field of leadership, motivation, communication, creating commitment. Also in an intercultural environment, she conducts trainings, full training cycles, provides consultancy services and coaching sessions for different types of organizations. In her training activities, she uses her extensive experience gained during many years of cooperation with both domestic and foreign business, as well as higher education institutions, numerous stays abroad, organizing and participating in international educational and scientific events, and 13 years of experience in conducting trainings, development of personal and professional competencies. Currently, she works as a trainer and coach at Cross-Cultural Intelligence, Poland, and as an assistant professor at the Wrocław University of Science and Technology, where she conducts research and publishes scientific work in the field of human resource management. Welcome, Dr. Kamila Ludwikowska.
Thank you so much for introducing me. Everything is true. And first of all, thank you so much for inviting me for the event. And I'm really happy to be part of the society that you are creating and all the important issues that ISTD is covering within all the activities. So today I will talk about transforming the approach to employees' development due to the COVID. So due to the situation that we all experienced in last months, or now also even year. So dear participants, imagine that due to the crisis, so due to the COVID, your company, which has more than, let's say, 10,000 sales representatives, in March last year, so 2020, switched totally from offline model of work to 100% of working remotely. But together with managers from your industry, you very quickly figured out how to adapt to all those rapidly changing conditions. And you have provided to your employees different instructions, short, quick trainings remotely and everything. And actually, in the end, employees were adjusted and they were working very, very efficiently. I think that it sounds familiar because many of us experienced that situation. But now imagine that the crisis has finished and most of the work became somehow regular again. However, you can observe among your employees greater absenteeism, decreased motivation, lack of engagement. So why is it happening? Why is it so? So the thing may be how you matched your employees to that new roles and different activities. You did a lot of trainings, you did a lot of different activities. However, the question is how you matched all those employees. What was the model? What was the mode of working with them? And that is definitely the challenge of leaders of so many countries around the globe. So how to ensure that people, that employees implement and also constantly expand all the new competencies that they have acquired in order to work in that new working conditions that they met. So today I will talk about current trends, accelerating, enhancing skills. I will talk about different critical skills to match new business model after the crisis, and about the developmental solution which might close that skill gaps. In the previous talk, we could hear about the need of new competences, and I will relate to that issue of creating new competences and also which actually competences are so critical. So the situation which I presented you at the beginning, so that will definitely become a common scenario in post-pandemic era. Most of the existing employees of our companies, so their competences actually have been adapted and they could operate in the crisis situation. And in majority, we also know that these competencies relate to critical digital capabilities because of the way how we had to work. So of course that is obvious that nowadays that ability to operate in digital environment, but also developing technical awareness, that is really very crucial. So during the crisis, during all the phases of crisis, employees learned by doing. And they, as I said, received different kind of quick trainings. So that remote working definitely will continue in the future as well. But now, let's consider what is actually happening to people and to organizations inside. So social isolation and different fears that people have. So that is the reason why people are more stressed. So they are stressed about, and they have different fears about the economy, about their health, about the general uncertainty which they have, and how they need to adjust to that new rules, new roles. They also have a kind of emotional overwhelm because of the need of adjusting to all that situation. And also we are parents, we are employees, we are managers. So the way how we had to organize ourselves and how we had to match all that our roles to that new reality. And also different platforms like that video conferencing platforms. These platforms definitely are not providing us the true social connections that we are longing so much for. And that is taxing our brains in really many various ways and making work more and more exhausting than it was usual. And also, people are somehow afraid that all the current competencies that they have are not needed, or maybe that they are not valid anymore. So all that symptoms which I said, that definitely affects all the employees' effectiveness and the way how actually they are working. So that scenario of all that emotions that people have, so that showed that the biggest dynamic is about something more than just adapting skills to remote working. And due to this, all that challenges, and also a kind of redesigned work, and also greater autonomy of work, because suddenly we had to work from our homes, and we had to just count in many situations on ourselves. So there is definitely a need for a set of new competencies. The future of changed nature of the work, of that redesigned work, so that is not just about employees' digital capabilities. That will definitely remain what people have learned, and that will continue. But also there is a need of another set of skills, like cognitive skills, social skills, emotional skills, adaptability, and resilience. That cognitive skills, for example, that we could also hear before. So these are all that critical thinking skills. So that word thinking is coming here again. Due to increased autonomy in work, for example, so that thinking skills are so much important now. Another, among that cognitive skills, like problem solving, creativity, because of the way how the environment is changing and how we need to adjust and be able to change the mode and how we are working, and how people need to respond, of course, to all that changes. Then social and emotional skills, and especially interpersonal skills to be able to maintain ties with all the team members and all the people. And finally, resilience skills like self-awareness, self-confidence, to face all that new experiences. So the thing is now how to use employees' existing potential. And why I'm saying employees' existing potential? Because actually people were working all the time. So they are in organizations, they are working in different environments, and they have their skill set of competencies. So how to use the fact that they have already their potential, and how to use that to build that new competencies. So how to make people feel like they are engaged in applying that new competencies, because they have, but how to make them they are engaged, how they can manage all the daily challenges that they meet, and all the expectations actually that are now in different environments. So to meet this challenge, there is definitely a need to craft a new development strategy. That transformation of approach to employees' development, that should definitely take into account that people are already skilled, that they have their competences, but their, for example, decreased efficiency is just temporary. So now what they need is a kind of individualized approach to their development, and the approach that will unlock that potential, the potential that they already have. And thanks to that, they will be able to maximize their performance as well. So that is now why we can't cut the budget for trainings, but definitely it's something more like double all that efforts because of upskilling, because of the need of upskilling people more and more than before. So now will be the question, what should be the mode of developing these critical skills? And as I said, because people are already skilled, so that is important to think actually from their perspective. So how do they feel? What do they need? How do they want to feel to perform better in that changing environment? And due to that pandemic, so motivation, engagement, all that decreased. Everyone experienced a crisis in their own way. So if they experienced the crisis in our own way, so it means that there is no one perfect model, universal model that we can apply to all. And we can say, okay, that is the way, that is the training, for example, for you, because we will teach you how to raise your self-awareness. So what is the way to cope with all the crises and actually the consequences of the crisis? How to support people in building also the sense of their work, which very probably they lost because of the situation. And also how to make them engaged to perform better. So the answer which I want to share with you, so that is a tailored learning journey. That journey where people are actually part of the process. They are empowered, their voice counts. They feel that they really have an influence on their development, that really who they are and the set of skills that they already have, that is really important, but they are like a part of that journey. So now there is a need to, as I said, launch that tailored learning journeys to close that skills gap. And now I can share with you my practice, because that will show that picture of the practices which I'm talking about. So at Cross-Cultural Intelligence, I'm working as a coach, and I'm working with corporate clients, but also with individuals who are coming. And actually, these people are very motivated and they are also very skilled. However, due to pandemic, very often I can hear and I can feel that they lost their self-confidence in how they perform their task, how they manage their teams. They lost even belief, for example, that the way how they were working till now is not effective anymore. So the way how I'm working with them, so that is that individual one-to-one session. And each that individual session, which is just for the one employee, starts with setting the goal. So we are working based on the goals, which is set by the client for that particular one session. And the client also determines the measure. So we have a goal and we have a measure. So how much during the session he wants to get closer, for example, to his goal. Then through asking very proper questions, just questions, I'm helping that person to unlock the potential and find the answers, because all that answers are based on the resources that people already have in them. So they are actually developing all the possible solutions. They are planning all that steps and they are planning implementation, because through the process of guiding them with the questions, that is the way of unlocking that potential. So the point here is that people completely consciously are accepting responsibility for all the results. So that is the way how they are starting thinking about their engagement and about responsibility that they are taking. So that is helping them to build greater commitment, proactivity, and focus on solutions. They are not waiting until someone will come and say, okay, these are the solutions and just take and do that. But this is everything about encouraging to being responsible for what we are doing. because also of that, the future that we absolutely don't know. So that is the way of unlocking. And at the end of each such session, the client also verifies. So that is the really very like task-oriented work. So people are verifying how much that session helped them to achieve. And what is specific in that relation, you can ask me. So that is the way how 100% is giving to the client. Safe space, acceptance, accepting the client and the people just like they are. I am okay, and you are okay. And the way how I completely believe that the only person who knows the answer, so that is the person who is coming. So I will tell you an example of my last situation, experience with one of the person who came to me. So it was a client, actually it was a girl, and due to the pandemic, she was considering whether to leave the job or stay in the current one. So imagine, for example, such employee going to the manager and talking that, yeah, I'm considering whether I should stay at the job or not. So she had plenty of examples of what she will gain if she will stay at the job and what she will gain if she will leave the job. But still, even with this high level of awareness, she was completely far from finding a solution for this question and solving this dilemma. She was afraid of taking the risk of leaving the job, but also she wanted to take a risk, but actually that risk was too big. So additionally, it was a kind of, let's say, no person. Nothing works, nothing is possible, I can't do anything, nothing is dependent on me. So it was a really long session with that person, but what I want to say that what broke the deadlock in the conversation, so that was a kind of taking perspective of someone else and looking at herself in that case from a completely different position. And then I asked her what could be the possible way or advice of that another person. And she was thinking, and after some time she told me that person would tell me, just get a grip. And then I asked her, get a grip. So I asked her, so how can you get a grip? And she replied something like, I think I should be more systematic. So I asked her again, so what can you do to be more systematic? And then she gave me at least six possible actions that are possible, how we can be more systematic. And it was like a perfect taken from the literature. Waking up early, waking up at the same time, taking some routine in a day and so on. But of course, she said that she knows that everything, but she implements no more than 5% of that. And I said, 5%? So that is a really great achievement. So now you can imagine how she was surprised with that appreciation. 5%, it's a lot. So I asked her, which of that solutions may be possible to implement like at the beginning? So she selected one, but then again, immediately she said that that will not work. So again, no client. So I asked her, so what you may do and what you can gain actually by doing that? And what actually may not happen if you will not do that? So then she was absolutely amazed with how many things she told me and she gave, like taking that small risk. Like I would be more proud of myself because actually she selected that taking a daily routine. So I will be more proud of myself. I would know that I can do that. I will be like more powerful and so on. So for example, instead of sleeping, I don't know, till 12, I can simply work on some of my different goals. So it might sound like not a big deal for you, but for her personally, it was a huge thing. Coming to that solution, it was a really huge thing. So that's why how it is individualized. So the secret lies in the fact that it was really her idea. No one advised anything. No one said, please, these are some solutions, you can take some. Everything is about that thinking process and taking responsibility. So she took a commitment, and that was definitely her small success. So starting from a big question that whether I should leave the company or stay there, because there were even no a B plan, let's say. So she left the session full of energy that such a big question might be solved maybe simply by taking some small steps. But the way how she was proud of herself, the result was that how much she was then committed to the solution that she came up with. So what's the conclusions from that? Sometimes behind big questions that people are bringing to us, so there are hidden a lot of needs, like maybe the need of recognition, maybe proving even ourselves that yes, we can do something. So that is how coaching works. It is helping to take steps that we are able to do. Solution, not orders, but steps that are coming just from the deep internal analysis of our own capabilities. It's not a magic. It's completely not a magic. It's just a process of discovering our strengths and maximizing that potential. So similarly, I had a situation with manager of one of the big international company, and he didn't know how to make his team like more engaged in different tasks, of course, due to the situation, due to pandemic. And you can say, for example, that, yeah, of course, he should get a training. That is obvious. And we have already plenty of solutions how to make people engaged. So what we are doing at CCIQ in such situations, because this is how people are coming, and managers are telling, for example, please, my people are not motivated, please give them a training. And I heard that many times during the way how we are working. And then I'm saying, so let me talk with them. And then it is the beginning of the need analysis process. So what is actually, so why there is such a final statement that people are not like engaged or motivated, for example. So sometimes solution is a training, of course, because I see that people do not have knowledge. So that is, of course, we need to equip them with the knowledge. But sometimes it also occurs that it's not a thing in people, but we just end with for example, some sessions with the manager. But also training will not work if people already have experience. And this is how we have also people now, because of the pandemic, they worked, but they lost something. They are motivated, they have skills, but they lost their motivation. So then the coaching is the most effective solution that we can apply. Such journey, which I just told you, that enables employees to build new skills and based on the potential that they already have. So it helps them to adjust to changing environment on my own way. So my situation, my emotions, how I'm dealing with the pandemic or even the consequences after. And there is no like one universal solution for that. So the coaching, which I just described you, there are many definitions that you can meet of coaching. But the one that I will refer to here is developed by the International Coach Federation. That is the oldest organization dealing with standards. And I'm working with the standards as well. And the definition is saying that the coaching is a partnership with the client in a thought-provoking and creative process. And that process inspires people to maximize personal and professional potential. So that is how it can be expected that people inspired to develop, and they are realizing that their potential is important and how they can be involved in the work. So very crucial is that while supporting people in achieving their goal, coach is totally impartial and has no other interest rather than supporting the client. So therefore, it is not possible to build a full coaching relationship, for example, between manager and employee, because there is a relation related also to work. So building that relationship focused just on the development, that takes place when you are working with external person, which is just for the needs that you have. And for whom is that? And as I said already, for people with lower level of motivation, some temporary problems, which are related, for example, the issue of reduced sense of work due to pandemic, that might be the situation. That is bringing people strength. That is creating the way how they are becoming individuals. That is how they are learning how to deal with different situations. It's helping them also to overcome different internal barriers and different limitations which people now have. and that helps them to achieve that personal excellence. And also new energy. That is something like, yes, I can. And then that motivation continues during further time. So people who care about their development, thanks to that coaching, they will certainly significantly develop their competencies because they are exactly taking the responsibility. No one is telling what to do, just you know, and taking that critical process of thinking the key here. And that is really amazing experience, like being partner, discovering that potential. And so that is that transformation, tailored, individualized approach, because times are changing. And as we could hear before, no one knows what will happen in the future. So we need to learn how to build our own resources to deal with situations. So organizations should not take initiatives to improve competencies and then just disband them after the crisis. No. Any changes or any shifts in, for example, talent, competencies that you are doing now should be used to build a sustainable people development strategy. And that is the way to build your organization's competitive advantage. Because all the actions taken so far from the last year should be used to develop people, their competencies in the future, but of course, under that new strategy, when we focus just on their internal resources that they have. So therefore, companies should build their own institutional efficiency based on individual people that they have, investing in that potential. And coaching definitely is such an opportunity, because this approach leads to permanent changes. We have permanent change if people are involved in what they are doing. If we are just giving them something that works for someone, so they can say, it's not for me, but when I will be the author of my solution, so that is just my responsibility that I will implement. And that is how I'm developing my way of thinking about taking the responsibility of what I'm doing. So that is definitely something that we need to develop in young people, people who are already working, this kind of thinking, because that affects definitely well-being and of course business success. And the amount which is invested in that solution after the crisis will definitely offer and will pay off with larger gains. And also, according to ICF, 70% of organization rates this method as the most helpful resource in achieving change management goals. So don't waste 2 to 3 years. Don't sacrifice the performance and the resilience that you can develop, for example, now. So what you can and what you should do is to focus on that resilience of your organization, make it both, of course, more digital, because that is, of course, the future also, but also the way how people are becoming more accessible and everything is becoming for there. So that tailored learning journeys definitely maximize employee potential for organization. So the way how pandemic transformed and changed how people are working, and the way how now we need to think and actually rethink the way how we were developing people till now, and now creating individuals who will be able to be responsible for their own development. So that is my message with the transformation that we should, and the way how we should approach to thinking about how to develop people. We want to, and we need to develop people who will be able to think on their own, and how they will be transferring that into their performance, and of course, organizations that they are working. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to speak once again, and thank you for invitation.
Thank you, Kamila Lutkovika-Vaska. Indeed, it was a wonderful session wherein you have touched the various skills required for the HR people to manage the COVID crisis. In fact, you rightly pointed out the cognitive skills, the social and emotional skills, the interpersonal skills, the resilience skills. I'm reminded of one skill which is quite prevalent in India, and which is known as the spirituality. Mm-hmm. because when all these skills do not work, then we people rely more on a spirituality to face these tough situations and circumstances. So in fact, it was a wonderful display of the very good examples which you have shared of how during the COVID crisis, the organizations can really deal with people more effectively. Thanks a lot for your session. Now I invite Dr. Yash to introduce his team. In fact, office bearers are there, and I will request him to introduce them. And thereafter, we will be having a short open session wherein those of you who wish to interact with our distinct guests can raise your hands, and we will try to accommodate as many of you who wish to give your suggestions or your ideas, your comments. All are welcome. Over to you, Yash.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Thank you to both the speakers, Dr. Shaffer Purinje and Dr. Kamila Ludwikovska. It was really insightful. And I'm really, really happy to see that from the comments or from the messages that everybody is getting something out of the meetings. So that will be our vision with the virtual global chapter, to provide you with powerful speakers from all over the globe who have such expertise and diverse expertise, where we have Dr. Shepard, who's an expert in education for sustainable development, and then Dr. Kamila Ludwikovska, who works with cross-cultural intelligence. So like related in the aspect of training, but again, they're like very wide, diverse topics. I would like to thank for this opportunity to lead the chapter as the founding chairman. It's an honor and a privilege to do so. And as Mr. Daniels mentioned, Dr. Suresh Vishwakarma was one of the members who brought up the idea, and then everybody worked on it together. And then the ISTD office bearers, or president, and all the NC members, they approved it. So it's a chapter of ISTD for all of us who built it up. Two things before I introduce the members, I would like to just share two things. One, I'm just sharing a temporary link to a form. This link can be passed on to any member who's living outside India from any of your chapters. Of course, this is a temporary form because from our national headquarters, we are building a web page for our virtual chapter, where there will be a permanent form, and of course, there will be a mechanism in which we can involve all the members. So this is a temporary form. Please feel free to pass it on to any of your member who's living abroad, so we can connect with them and involve them in the activity. The second thing is that within the virtual chapter community, what we have decided is that last Saturday of every month would be our a monthly talk from somebody who's living in some part of the world. We'll be trying to bring to you really good topics, really good people. As you could see today, we had two wonderful speakers. So one or two speakers in every meeting with various topics, thought-provoking topics, and every meeting agenda would be only the speakers will speak, and we will introduce them, and there will be nothing else apart from the topics being discussed. So that will be the motive of our meetings. Great, and of course, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to write to the national headquarters, to me, or to any of the members who I'm going to now invite to just take a minute and please introduce yourself. So we have first I start with the vice chairman of our chapter, Mr. George Thomas. Would you please just give us tell us a little bit about ourselves in about a minute or so? Mr. George Thomas.
Thank you, Dr. Yash, for this opportunity. As you know, my name is George Thomas. I am working as a Chief Executive Officer of Middle East Management Consultancy in Muscat, Oman. I'm in the Middle East for the last 30 years. And I'm very happy to be a part of this virtual chapter. And I know that I can do a lot of things with the help of all of you. And that has been told by Dr. Shepard today in his speech also. I wish you good luck. I'm happy to be a part of this chapter. Over to you, Dr. Yash.
Thank you so much. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Samir Hadiya, who is the secretary of the chapter.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Yash, and all the dignitaries present in this virtual global chapter inaugural function. So it is my pleasure to be part of this virtual global chapter as a secretary. And my association with ISTD is since last now more than 6 years. My parent chapter is ISTD Vadodara chapter, and I was there as a general secretary for 1 year. And currently I'm working as a data analyst and IT trainer in Hanover, Germany since last 4 years. And yeah, I'm normally conducting trainings and related to data analytics and data visualization. So once again, I welcome all of you and looking forward to see all of you in the coming sessions of virtual global chapter. Yeah, thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Hadiya. Next, we have Professor Ahuja. Do we have Professor Ahuja? Professor Yudhishthir Ahuja, are you here? If I've got you right.
Yeah, thank you, Yash. As you know, I've been connected with ISTD, I would say, for more than 20 years, and especially with the training and development program. And now currently I'm based in USA, but I have been a part of UNDP and the World Bank in the training and development program. What I heard today was very important to me, but one thing which I would like to share with Dr. Joshi, this is for the first time I've heard anybody talking of spiritual skills. And I'm a part of a conference very soon, which is happening in Canada. And I would suggest that apart from when we talk of physical skills, emotional skills, and whatnot, I think today the need in COVID-19 is also to build simultaneously the spiritual skills of the young people. And I'm sure this will help them in overcoming their emotional problems, their mental problems, and whatnot. So I would like to congratulate Dr. Joshi for introducing spiritual concept, which is very, very close to my heart. And I would like to help in that direction. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Ahuja. Next, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Deepak Sharma. He is one of our members from the chapter who is in Canada, if I'm not wrong.
Hi, everyone. Do you hear me? Yes, do you hear me?
Yeah, I got to say you look like a Dawood.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is the big day for us, right? So whole world is in front of us. And I'm associated with the ISTD since 2008. And since then, I'll keep on contributing. And right now I'm in Canada. I'm based in Toronto. And I'm certified training and development professional here and working as a professor with one of the college. And I'll keep on mentoring the newcomers, those who are arriving here from the different countries. And I would like to say a special thanks to Dr. Kamila and Dr. Shaffer. And they shared their views about the change and sustainability. So the both things are only possible if we focus on differentiated type of learning strategies. That is the more required now these days because everything is changing due to the COVID. So once again, it is my pleasure to be part of ISTD as well as the virtual chapter. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Lawrence Alva. He's a member from our chapter. Are you there? Can you, Mr. Lawrence? Okay. I would like to invite next Mr. Lloyd D'Souza.
I think
please unmute.
Yes. I just did that. No problem.
Okay. So
Yeah,
first,
okay.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm Lloyd D'Souza. I'm based in Riyadh. I've been a recent member of ISTD. Thanks to Kurian Daniel and Dr. Yash and the respective members of this team and this panel. Thank you both privileged guests. Glad to be part of this. I work in Riyadh for an economic policy firm. And as you know, Saudi Arabia is going through a transformation. So I keep looking for experts, global experts from different fields. And I'm also, I love to hear Dr. John Maxwell, some good trainers. So I'm always open to learning. So I'm still open to learning from all of you. Thank you once again. I wish you all the best.
Great to have you.
May I go?
Yes, please.
Yes, that's me, Lawrence Alva. I'm based in Muscat, Oman. I'm with about 38 years of experience in people development, right from vocational training to leadership training. So I'm currently retired as the CEO of National Training Institute. It's one of the premier and largest training institution in Oman. Preparing Omanis, the local people, right from school leavers to diploma holders to graduates, preparing them for jobs. That's what I'm involved in. And currently I'm working as the corporate advisor to the same organization after my retirement. Although I'm with the ISTD for the last 25 years, this is my first any personal interaction with the chapter. And I'm really glad that something is happening. Thank you for getting me on board.
Thank you so much. So these are the members that we have been interacting as of now. So I'm sorry that if I missed somebody, but rest assured that we will have a monthly meeting and monthly events every month. As I mentioned, it will be the last Saturday of every month when we will have our events. So please, block your calendar for the next 50 years, because we have 50 into 12, about 600 speakers waiting to talk to you over the next 50 years. And hopefully, as Dr. Shepherd said, we would be talking about the future, not just the present or the past, but preparing all of us for the future. I would like to invite all of you to connect with me on LinkedIn. And as you can see that all the members are here from the chapter from different countries. The vision is to start with one chapter and then expand into different regions, and all these members that you have been interacting, maybe taking up initiatives and having actual members, actual chapters in various countries and taking ISTD to the world. So I invite you all to not just connect with me, but all the members from our chapter, so that we all can mutually help each other and mutually grow in terms of training and development. I thank you all once again for joining, and I pass on to Dr. Joshi, who will take on the Q&A session. So if you have put your question and answers, but Dr. Joshi would address it to our guests. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Yash. In fact, we are running a bit behind the time schedule. However, it is my duty for the Q&A session, and I would like to invite our esteemed, distinguished ISTDians also to share their views. So some of the Q&A, in fact, Benita Parikh has asked. I would request Benita to ask herself the questions. Benita, I have included you.
I don't think that she
Benita, can you?
She cannot.
And then Vijay Phate is there. Benita? Yeah, Benita is joining.
Yes, I couldn't ask her earlier because I was not a part of panel.
Yeah, I know. We have now invited you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. My question was, I think I asked 2 or 3 questions along the question. The last one was that given the remote control, a remote working situation in almost all the companies, I feel that there is a major shift required in how companies and HR sees work. And therefore, it will affect the training and development also, that work as a unit for compensation and for checking out. Up till now, we feel that how many hours are spent by the employee is more of a criterion than the actual output. And people find it difficult to measure it. The management also requires this mental shift. That's the biggest shift that is required. How do you see that happening around India?
Kamila, would you like to answer? Kamila or any one of you, Dr. Shepard? You have to unmute, Kamila. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, okay. Something was blocked on my side. Yeah, so it's about the balance, because you are asking about actually the amount of work that we are working in the remote mode, right? So that is from my point of view about the biggest thing is about the proper leadership now. And actually leaders who are totally responsible also for understanding, I would say, the mode of work and the consequences of that. So that is why what I said, that individual. So that is now that effort of understanding each and every person and trying to, allocate really what are the most convenient, I don't know, moments or modes, how the people are working, because that is how about that redesigned work. So nothing will be like same. So that's why we are leaders. We need to understand that people really have that different needs and trying to really talk with them as much as possible and trying to really understand how and what they are going through. And only then they might be able to give us that efficiency that we require also at work, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Vijay Phate, your question, please.
I have again same questions with Kamila, that she has spoke about the coaching as one of the tools to overcome the various leadership issues which are faced in organization and also employee engagement and other related activities. So myself, I'm a psychologist and management consultant interacting with many of the organizations in India. My observation is that in today's situation because of COVID, this mental health is predominantly affected, and wherein just client-centered approach may not be adequate. So I'd like you to tell us that what additional measures to be taken care of. That's one question. Second, since I got this opportunity, thank you, sir. I would like to appeal to the Yash and his team that I, being the co-chairman for the L&D committee, we will also like to host the programs of international speakers on the NHQ platform. So please connect with me for that also.
So Kamila, that is an invite for you from India.
Yes, sure.
To join in our management development programs as a faculty. So Dr. Phate has invited you. So we will like to connect with you in the future programs. Thank you. And
I also like to answer my question.
Yeah. Kamila, any response to Dr. Vijay?
Okay. Yeah. So it was a question about the measure, and of course we are talking about mental health. But if we are talking about how the situation redesigned work is influencing that mental health. But yeah, that is the time if we will not take about that mental health. So people will not bring employees will not bring any outcomes. They will not bring like that deficiency. Of course that needs to be a measure. So even in the way how I'm working with coaching, it's not just because people can think it's a soft style. It's not soft style. There is a really direct measure. So we are making a contract. Okay, so that is a goal. But then what is the measure? And then the whole thing is happening between sessions, because it's the way how people are committing to what they said. They are telling me, okay, I will start doing that. And then I'm asking, okay, so when you will do that? And then I don't know. So what will be the next week? So which day next week you will do that? And then that is the measure. So, okay, it will be from Tuesday. So next time we are meeting, okay, what did you do since that time? And if that is a corporate situation, when we have let's say sponsor and the client, so employee, and then it's a kind of relation, right? There are some expectations. But yes, taking that measure is each and every time. So that is not a soft style. That is definitely task-based style, but that is very task and people-oriented, because first of all, people counts and that individual way how they are thinking. So as I said, training it's okay for people who do not have, for example, knowledge, because we need to give them and they need to practice that, but not for those who are already skilled. They need something more. They need some, individualized and tailored approach to them, and then they will be able to commit to that goals. They need to say that goal. If you will say people what to do, so that will work on the contrary. They will do that just because of the respect, of course, but the thing is how much they will be involved in that. If you will allow them to be involved, so then they will be bringing the objectives by themselves and the outcome, sorry.
Kamila, my question was not in situation where they are responsible and they have the solution with themselves. In any situation where the solution is not with you need to involve other stakeholders into it. Now, in such situations, how is your approach?
Do we have time for also that replies? Okay. So yes. So you know, during the time of talking with one person, it might be that I even had that situation last time. Okay, we were working in that way, and then it was, but I really don't know how to say that. For example, how to formulate a sentence or how to really employ that method, apply. And then it's, of course, we are going into expertise field. So we are going into mentoring, for example. So then it's another expert, like it might be that leader, it might be that external expert who is giving that direct solution, not a solution, but actually a motivation or inspiration how you can do that. Because really it's everything is like, I'm believing being far away from advising people what to do. They need to know. So we need to teach them that thinking, that critical thinking, because that is a really easy way. Just tell us what to do and I'm going to do that, for example. And I tell you it's your fault because you did not give me a proper solution. So it's not working. So still I will be not involved. Nothing works. I'm no person, for example. So yes, of course. So then we are going into expertise, but you need to recognize. Sometimes it happens, for example, that I have a client do the session and then we are stopping. And then I'm saying, you know, I think that now you need a help of psychologist. It's not a coaching anymore. It's not a mentoring anymore. It's something deeper because that is focused on past. And if you will not deal with your problems for the past, so you will not focus on the future. Coaching is on future. Mentoring is on future. And if I see that people are struggling with problems from the past, so then I'm telling, okay, so we can go back to the session once you will be ready, once you will deal with your past situations, for example.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Milinder Rane, and then Rashmi, only two we will be able to entertain. So Milinder Rane.
Am I audible?
Yeah, Milind, please. You are.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Avinash Joshi. So congratulations to each one of you for being a part of this inaugural function. Dr. Yash, thanks for declaring the date of last Saturday, and congratulations to George Thomas, Dr. Samir, Dr. Deepak Sharma, Loy and Lawrence, and Yudhishthir Ahuja, and all your team members. And my question to Dr. Shaffer, if you're listening, you have shared a very powerful insight, and you have told us to prepare for the future we do not know. Like in the COVID-19, we do not know how we got into this situation. Thanks to COVID-19, we are having a global virtual chapter inaugural function. We should be thankful to that also. But my question to Dr. Shaffer is, what are the skills, topmost skills that will require to prepare for the uncertain future that we do not know? Like Dr. Shaffer, yeah. Any top 2 or 3 skills, or what is there that you have in mind that we don't know, and we know that we do not know how we are going to prepare for that. So what is that domain that we have to operate now? Yeah. So Dr. Shaffer, you have shared very powerful insight, but I request you to really go and highlight more things on that. How to prepare for a future we are not aware now.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I do not believe that the world did not know that there is going to be something like COVID. The world was just not prepared for something like COVID. It was, I think we had all the signs that something that big will happen. The world was just not prepared for that to happen. And because of that, it is not because the world does not want to prepare. It is because of the way we have been educated. We have been educated to deal with the situations like situations that are predictable. That is, see, when this happens, this is what will happen. When this happens, this is what will be the result, etc. We are not prepared for what we refer to as wicked problems. We have got complex problems, then we have got wicked problems. Wicked problems are not easy to define. They don't have one solution. They are sometimes chaotic. They just emerge, etc. Now, when you talk about skills that we can use to prepare for wicked problems or challenges that we don't even know will happen, I did try to give a glimpse of what the future, learning for the future should be like. The first thing that I mentioned was that we should be able to be training people how to think, not giving them solutions, but putting them in situations where we should be trained to think. The 4 words that I used, I will repeat them again. The most important one is the ability to be able to question the status quo. That's critical thinking.
Right.
Like, why are we being ruled like this? Is this the only answer we have got for COVID? Why is it that climate change, which is a true science, is being ignored, or we are not doing it the way we should? Why are our children learning like this? Those are critical questions which do not have an answer, but they will have multiple answers. The problem is we want an answer like building a bridge. That is it. We can't cross the river from point A to point B. What do we need? We need a bridge. What does a bridge need? We calculate and we put the things, we construct a bridge, and we now have it. Society is not like that. Society is messy. You need critical thinkers. You need people who are thinking divergent. That's one. You need people who communicate. In other words, the most important skill that we can have here is accommodating ideas that are not reconcilable. Ideas that are irreconcilable can be accommodated because we will never agree on the same solution. But both of them or 3 of them are solutions. They are just not the same. So how can we coexist? That's a special skill. To coexist with people that we don't agree with, to coexist with solutions that we don't agree with, that it is a solution, but mine is like this, but they can coexist. Because the challenges are so complex, we can't have one size fit all. Then you've got your communication, and then you've got your collaboration. Those are real skills. But together with that, you need problem-solving skills. Now, these problem-solving skills are not something that you can teach. They are something you create an environment for learners or students to be able to problem solve. You can't teach problem solving, but you create an environment where learners are developing problem-solving skills. So we need that kind of education where you don't teach, but you help students to become problem solvers. So what kind of education is that? That's what we call transformative education. Some people call it transgressive education because it cuts across the norm. It destroys what we have and builds anew. That is, we need something completely new. Okay. And some people will call it education T-learning, education that should transform us from one area to another. This is too short a time for me to go deep into the skills that we need for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shaffer.
Yeah, Rashmi Bhargav. Rashmi.
This question is addressed to all our esteemed speakers, and it's a thought to be really thought about. I'm Rashmi, and I'm the chairperson of the Certification and Accreditation Board of ISTD. Now, keeping the changes in mind, especially after pandemic, I need your suggestions. It may not be immediate, but we need to float a lot of certification courses, which, targeting things like leadership, flexibility, critical thinking, adaptability, because this is the need of the hour for the changes. So I need your suggestions, what kind of certification or accreditation courses we can float, keeping the future of the people in mind.
Dr. Shepherd, please.
Dr. Shepherd, please.
I think we are not. Dr. Shaffer, are you there?
Oh, I lost contact for some time. Sorry.
Yeah. Shall I request Rashmi to ask the question again? Put up the question again. Rashmi, can you repeat the question?
Sure. I'm Rashmi. I'm the chairperson for the Certification and Accreditation Board of ISTD, and I'm also on the National Council. I need some suggestions from all of you present here, especially Dr. Shaffer. We have to, keeping in mind the changes after pandemic and the kind of changes in the workplace, we now have to guide people and train people according to the need of the future. And this could be related to leadership, flexibility, critical thinking, adaptability, name anything, lot of things which need to be addressed, emotional intelligence. So we need to have certain certification courses for ISTD, which we can, help people pan the globe. And we have to start thinking in terms of creating such training programs. So I need inputs from all the esteemed people sitting here and the esteemed speakers and our special guest, if you could suggest something for ISTD.
Yes, that's a very important question. It is a very important question, and it is the question of our time. How do you assess learning? What you are asking here is, how do you assess learning for the 21st century? How do you assess learning for the future? How do you assess learning that will enable people to, that will take people into the future? We have had this question for quite some time now. Sometimes, let me take for an example here very quickly, I will be very brief. When you talk about collaboration and communication, for an example, it is essential for any course to have a critical thinking, collaboration, and communication, that this should be built in. But if you have got your students doing a project, for an example, they are collaborating on a project. There are two things that are important that you should be able to measure here or assess. Most of our assessment is focused on the outcome or on the output. You look at the project itself, has it been done? How good is it? If it is a thesis or a video, etc., and you give it a grade. But for this 21st century, what you need is, you need to measure the process. You will have a project that is not so good at the end. But during the process, there was a lot of communication. There was a lot of debate. There was a lot of compromising, taking and giving. There was a lot of communication. Now, that process itself is the one that is more difficult to measure, but it is the one that is important for the 21st century. What kind of processes have students been engaged in order to arrive at an outcome? So what I would say is, in everything that we assess, we should look at the process, and that process should engage the 21st century skills. Assess the processes of critical thinking, the processes of collaboration, the processes of communication, together with what the students can do, which is at the end. If we can find ways of doing that, we are on our way. No assessment method is perfect. At Uppsala, we have been fighting to do a course where we are only allowed to say, this is a pass and this is a fail. But as a university, of course, they don't like that. They want to give grades A, B, C, etc. But A, B, C for me does not measure the process of learning for the future. It measures how much students have remembered from what we have been talking about. But how much students have remembered is not a process. It is not a skill for the future. In the future, we don't want you to remember. We want you to think on your feet. Okay, so this is again a short answer for something that is really big. Maybe something that we can talk about later on. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Dr. Shaffer, for excellently explaining. In fact, I'm overwhelmed with the kind of response, the kind of question and answer. We really do not have time to respond to them all. I have one request for the last question, that is from Reggie Punnus. So this is the last question, please.
I'm sorry. Actually, I requested Dr. Joshi to invite Mr. Reggie Babu because he is currently in Australia and it's, I think, around 2 a.m. and he is one of our chapter members.
Sure. Please welcome. Welcome, Reggie Babu.
My fault that I didn't invite him to speak. So
Okay. Fine enough.
Please, can you tell us about you, please? Can he unmute himself?
Welcome, Reggie.
I'm just trying to figure out. Hope you can see me and hear me.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Oh yes, now
yes.
We can. Hi, thanks for inviting me to talk. I'm Reggie Babu. Right now I'm in Australia. I'm an electrical engineer, and I really enjoyed both the speakers today because I'm an electrical engineer who is passionate in renewable energy and sustainable energy. That is my line of work. I've spent last 11 years doing solar power plants, solar power business in different parts of the world, including Europe and Middle East. And now I'm in Australia. And I closely watch the climate change agreements and how different countries perform, and just not part of my job, but yeah, that's what I like to do. So I really enjoyed the session today, and I'm glad for ISTD setting up such a platform where people from different parts of the world can connect. And I really feel great to have so many knowledgeable people from whom I can learn so much, and I look forward for more such events. And I would be glad to be a part of it. No matter what time it is, anywhere in the world. But yeah, it's wonderful connecting, and thanks a lot for both the speakers for enlightening us with such great message. And thank you, ISTD, and thank you, Yash, for having this platform running. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mr. Babu, for joining from Australia. We are indeed grateful to you, and we are sure that in the times to come, we will have a really global platform where people from all across the world will be sharing and contributing. Thanks a lot. The program we have already stretched. I'm very sorry to those whom I could not invite for the Q&A session. For the concluding session, I want to invite our National Treasurer, Mr. Salil Chatterjee, to please sum up the session and give his views. Salil Chatterjee, please.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. It was a wonderful session. And no doubt, today being the 1st of May, being the International Labour Day, it is also a historical day for ISTD as well. And we can very well say that from today, ISTD can be called as the World Society for Training and Development. From ISTD, it has become WSTD, World Society for Training and Development. And I would like to thank Dr. Yash for coining a wonderful team throughout the world to lead the world team with all knowledgeable and trainers all throughout the world. And we are here from the country level also to extend all support. Of course, it was a real enriching session for all the ISTDians throughout the country today, and a real fulfilling one as well. And I hope everyone, each one of the ISTDians who are attending today throughout the country, our 8,000 members, everybody has something to take back home. My gratitude to Dr. Yash for having brought in two wonderful speakers, Dr. Orenje, who who gave us a powerful message to all of us. He spoke on his core area, which is the work that is education for sustainable development. He spoke how ISTD can become the torchbearer in the area that is working. He spoke about the challenges that we have to face. He spoke that our training should target on training, such a training that we attend to employability, job creation, and the changing global market. And we should also, and our education system should be such to respond to all the challenges that are coming, known or unknown, in the days to come and days to coming forward also. Education today is the best investment in the world. That is, gave us the message, and we definitely take this message with us. And also the 4 key training areas that we should concentrate, that is critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. These are the 21st century skills that we should develop, and definitely we have taken note of it, and we shall work on it. And so also, and thank you, Dr. Orenje, for the wonderful guidance that you gave us and the suggestions that you gave to our questioners in the next session also. And my sincere thanks to Dr. Kamila, who actually is a practical trainer. She spoke on employment development, employee development. She spoke on the challenges that she has seen and she's facing, and the employees are facing due to the pandemic, how these are to be made, and the need for developing an employee, and the skills that are to be developed in each of the employee of us. Those are, some of them are cognitive, social, emotional, internal, personal, and resilience skills. Of course, what Dr. Joshi added was also the spiritual skill. Definitely India has a lot of spiritual, we are full, all are spiritual, and this is another skill that we already have with us. And we have just to ignite it. She also spoke on the individual approach that is she's taking into, and upskilling regarding the existing skills, engaging. She spoke of all the practical approaches that one has to take, she has taken and is taking, and that we should take, seeing to the present pandemic. Wonderful session. Thank you, one and all. And Dr. Yash, congratulations for taking over as the global chairperson and making ISTD as the global society for training and development. Thank you, one and all the NC members, all the past presidents, all the members of ISTD. Thank you all for being with all of us, and an NHQ team for organizing this wonderful event, and the dream of our national president and national vice president. Of course, national vice president has been toiling for this last 1.5 years. He has been speaking to all the people all around you to make this happen, and today is happen, and it has happened. And ISTD is grateful for this wonderful event of today. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee. Now, finally, it is a term of vote of thanks. And on behalf of the virtual global chapter, now I invite Mr. George Thomas to give the vote of thanks. Mr. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Director of ISTD, Dr. Joshi, Keynote Speaker, Dr. Kamila, Dr. Shaffer, ISTD National President, Mr. Nadraj Ray, National Vice President, Mr. Kurian Daniel, ISTD Virtual Global Chapter Chairman, Dr. Yash, and Virtual Global Chapter members and other ISD members. A very good evening to all of you. At the outset, I should say an excellent online inauguration function with the presence of dignitaries from different parts of the world. In this August event, I have been entrusted the responsibility to extend a vote of thanks to all those who have wholeheartedly supported us in making this function a great success. To start with, may I extend the sincere thanks to Dr. A.C. Joshi, who is the director of ISTD, for your esteemed presence and bless this occasion, and also handle the open house very effectively. And you play the role of an MC very well, and we are greatly thankful to you for your esteemed presence. Next, I would like to honor heartiest thanks to Dr. Shaffer Purinje for his motivational inaugural address, where you have raised the bar of ISTD and delivered the opportunity of ISTD to contribute globally. Thank you very much for your presence, and we are really motivated by your inaugural address and also answering the questions. And I think you can help us, and you know that you are on the process of helping us. Thank you very much. And now next the honor is Dr. Shaffer. Now the privilege to extend our sincere thanks to the keynote speaker, Dr. Kamila. Indeed, a wonderful and thought-provoking topic, transferring the approach to employees development in the light of COVID. We have a lot to take, and after listening your keynote address. Thank you, Dr. Kamila, for your excellent keynote address. Next, I would like to convey our thanks to the National President, Mr. Nataraj Ray, for his presence and your short speech, which have given us a lot of insight. On this occasion, may I extend my sincere thanks to ISTD Vice President, Mr. Kurian Daniel, for active participation and make this success a grand one. May I take the opportunity to give sincere thanks to National Treasurer, Mr. Salil Chatterjee, for summing up the program. Last but not the least, to share my heartfelt thanks to the virtual Global Chapter Chairman, Dr. Yash Chawla, who is very active, motivating, and aggressive to make the chapter lovely for the welcome address. And he's trying your best to bring this global chapter worldwide, and that will be beneficial for many people around the world. Keep up the good work, Dr. Yash. I take this opportunity to extend sincere thanks to all the ISTD members and virtual global chapter members who are from different parts of the world for taking part and for your esteemed presence in this event. We should be thankful to the Zoom platform that we don't have any technical hitches during this inaugural function. That is something we should always admire. We are from different parts of the world, and we are together and having an excellent meeting. I wish you all good luck, and those who have really worked hard for making this success, it's great to thank you on behalf of the global chapter. And thank you very much once more, and may God bless you all. Over to you, Dr. Joshi.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas, indeed, for a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. In fact, you made our day, and we are indeed grateful to all of you, those who have joined, and Mr. Yash, for your leadership and for booking every last Saturday of the week. I'm sure a lot of very interesting speakers we will be witnessing in the months to come. All the very best to you. Thank you.
Just to go, we have to also thank Mr. Gurvinder Singh. He is our IT person in our national headquarters, who has been doing a lot of changes over the past 2 days, arranging everything, and he's also handling the technical things with the webinar. So we have to thank Zoom, as well as the person who set up the Zoom for us, Mr. Gurvinder Singh. Thank you so much, and we hope to have your support for the future as well. And of course, Dr.
Thank
Joshi,
you, sir.
wonderful. It has been wonderful to interact with you also. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks
Thank
all.
you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. See you all. Take care.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.